So, Rich, you've been the professor for the 60 Minutes Masterclass since the beginning. Can you talk about how this class specifically came to be?
It came out of a discussion with Michael Radutsky. We were just talking one day about the possibilities, what could possibly be, what you could come up with, what you can do at Elon. I tell people at Elon that you're only limited by your imagination. And that's true for students, and it turns out it's also true for faculty and for our advisors to our faculty as well. We just thought, what a cool idea to have this class that emulated the pinnacle of American journalism, 60 Minutes. And what a cool idea if the people at 60 had some buy-in to this course.
And then for you as a professor, how have you seen the stories and the reporters grow over the years?
The first class of 60 Minutes students was phenomenal. The last class was phenomenal. I expect the next one to be phenomenal. The students are all great. What seems to evolve over time is how we approach the class. And it evolves based on what the last class did, and you take that forward. You should always be building on what the last class did. So we've done that. Plus, we build on the fact that we go up to New York every year for spring break, and we get tremendous feedback from the folks who run that program up in New York. And we apply that. So for instance, the first year, coming into it naively, never having done it before, it seemed like a great idea for us to do 3 30-minute shows, each with 3 pieces, and we'll have a few left over to just throw in overtime. We survived the semester. It was not easy. Everybody worked well. Everybody did a good job. But it was clear that that was so much. It was clear because we went to New York. I think Jeff Fager and Michael Radutsky looked at us and said, "You're doing what? Are you crazy?" So we realized that was a lot to bite off and still get the quality that we wanted. So then we did it as 2 for many years, and this year for the first time we experimented with doing one show, taking it to New York, getting the folks who run 60 Minutes to give us feedback on that show, then taking all of their advice on board and redoing the show. Much more realistic toward the way that 60 does it.
And you know, most journalists in this school are used to the minute 30 package or maybe turning in an article in a week. Why is it important for students to learn about long-form journalism like this?
Everything we do is important. The interesting thing about our media world today is that there are any number of ways to get your information and any number of ways to get more information. So when I wake up in the morning, I look at my Twitter feed. And I see the New York Times, I see CBS, I see NBC, I see all those people, and I kind of get a feel for where my world is at 7:30 in the morning. But I want to know more. So I'll read the New York Times, and that will give me a lot more. And then I'll watch the nightly news, and I'll give me the video to go with it. But on Sunday, I want to know about things that weren't in the news. I want to know about that in-depth look at a new cure for cancer. I want to know about that person who I kind of heard, I'm not a big sports fan, but you know, he's a skateboarder. Amazing. I want to hear about places in the news that I'm not that familiar with and want to watch 12 or 15 minutes or 20 minutes about that. That's where 60 Minutes fits in. And our 30 Minutes piece fits in beautifully with our Elon landscape.
And you talk about all these different outlets that students have in the School of Communications. Why in this class is it important to have more than just broadcast journalists?
Here's why this is one of my favorite classes. Because we bring in people that I don't usually work with and that don't usually work together. There's a certain richness to the product when I have somebody from strategic communications, when I have people who are print people, when I have people who make documentaries, when I have people who make feature films. The beauty of 60 Minutes is in the storytelling. And the storytelling is not just the words, which really matter, and not just the interviews, which really matter, but the aesthetics, the way it looks. That kind of aesthetic is not something you usually get from somebody who does a 1.5-minute piece. The depth is not something you usually get from somebody who does a 1.5-minute piece, more toward what a print person might do. And the idea of actually getting that kind of news story, though, itself, that kind of does play into what a person who does a 1.30 package does. So when you put everyone together, the first thing you get is a fight. Nobody understands everyone else's workflow. The documentarians want to spend 8 hours lighting it perfectly. The broadcast news students want to come in, go out, 5 minutes, they're gone. So you throw them together, they're going to fight and come to some sort of a great compromise.
And then for us as students, we work so long, so hard on all of these stories, and then at spring break we take them up to New York for 60 minutes to see them. So we know as students how we feel about that. How do you feel as a professor going up to 60 minutes in New York and showing off the pieces?
I feel immense pride. I am really, really proud of the fact that students would be willing to take their work, knowing that they're 20, 21 years old, still learning their craft, not even out of college, would take their work and display it in front of people who are at the top of their game, the people who are arguably some of the most powerful people in media in the world, and that they would be willing, my students would be willing to show that. Not out of arrogance, but out of the great wanting to learn more. I have looked at those scripts after those guys have gone through it. It looks like they opened a vein on your script. And my students' reaction every year has been the same when they've seen their work decimated. They've gone up to Jeff Fager and said, "Mr. Fager, would you autograph this, please? This means a lot to me." And then they go back and make the changes. I feel nothing but pride.
And speaking of changes, so this program's evolved from the first year to the last year. Where else do you want to see it go? It's a little different each year, so what's next?
I'd like to see the class continue to evolve. Part of me says, I don't know where it's going. And that's the fun part of it. That's the serendipity. That's the embracing it. I hand select the people who are going to be in this class. And one of the characteristics I look for from the students is that they're flexible. That they don't want to see a syllabus on the first day and know every day exactly what they're going to do and then argue with me if we don't do that. I want students who can come in, not worry about a syllabus, not worry about a grade, and look at the course as organic. This is, in many ways, your class. It's not really a class. It's not a, here's your midterm, here's your final, here's your readings type of class. It's, you're an adult, you're about to go out there and do this for a living. Show me what you can do, with the primary motivation being you're wanting to show me how good you are. And that's how I'd like to see it continue to evolve.
That's great. Thank you so much.